Pizza love is, I love you because you have something that I want and that makes me happy. Pizza love is using. And there are a lot of ways to use. There are a lot of ways we use each other. I love you because you're so good looking, and when I'm seen with you, it makes me more popular. I love you. Or, I love you because you're good at math, and I'm bad at math, and you help me with my math, and when you help me understand math better, that just makes me so much happier. I love you. What does that kind of love lead to? Guess what? I met somebody even better looking than you, and when I'm seen with them, I'm even more popular. So thank you very much for your help, but kind of don't hang around because now you kind of make me look bad, Sorry. Or semester's over, got a great math grade. Thank you for your support. Don't need you anymore. We don't want that. We want real love. We want to have somebody in our lives who we really believe cares about us, who we really believe wants what's best for us, who we really believe will be there for us. We want real love, not pizza love. The question then is, how does sex fit into that equation? What part does sex play in finding and living that real love of having somebody that cares about you? Well, let's look at the Christian context for a minute. Now, when I was in high school, when I was in college, I abstained from sex for one simple reason, because I was a Christian. I knew it was against the rules. I didn't want to get on God's bad side. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean I had a tremendously complete understanding of this, mind you. I pretty much saw God as the cosmic killjoy, right? He's up in heaven trying to ruin your fun. I created something really great and you can't have it because I want you to suffer. You really get that idea sometimes. But what happened was I started to get a little older. I started to look around. I looked at my generation and I saw something. I saw that the people who were abstaining from sex, and I don't necessarily mean the virgins. I also mean perhaps the one who said yes on prom night and then said the next day, this just doesn't seem like it's serving my future, and started to abstain from that point on. The ones who had abstained were doing better. Not just that they weren't getting sexually transmitted diseases or weren't getting pregnant, although that was true, but I started to notice that their relationships were going better. Their lives were going better. Love was going better. They were happier. And things started to kind of click for me a little bit. I started to think, maybe God's not the cosmic killjoy. Maybe he's just the guy with the instruction manual. Maybe he created sex and he knows how it operates, and he loves us and he is love. He understands the connection between sex and love. Maybe he can help here. I had a lot of friends at the time who would say, it's my body. What's the church doing trying to tell me what to do with my body? It's my body and I can do whatever I want. To which I would usually respond, well, duh. You ever heard that? I mean, of course it's your body. Of course you decide. The church has no enforcement arm, like a SWAT team to keep you from sinning. We know you're in there sinning. Come out with your hands up. You can't escape. There's a bishop on every corner. Doesn't happen. We don't have that. But I really realized the older I get, the more sense this made. The more sense it makes. That there's a logic here, there's a language. And Scripture's pretty clear in a lot of different places about the expectations for sexuality. St. Paul says, do not deceive yourselves, no fornicator will enter the kingdom of heaven. Pretty clear. If you join yourself to a harlot, you become one flesh with her. Pretty clear. A man shall leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Not leave for an evening for his mother and father and borrow their car, become one flesh, and decide to cleave later down the line. But the most amazing treatment of sexuality I ever found in Scripture is where I least expected it, in the book of Genesis. Now, I don't know about you, but I always thought Genesis was about a couple naked people and a snake and an apple. And that was about it. But it really is, it's about us. It's about relationships. It's about men and women and how we get along and how we don't get along and the role sex plays in love. Let's look at it for a minute. God creates the world. And he creates Adam, and he gives Adam dominion over the whole world. Adam has considerable real estate holdings. Adam once owned this. Adam has a pretty sweet deal. But what does God say? He says it's not good for man to be alone. Why not? He's got a good deal. He needs more. What Adam needs is relationship. What Adam needs is to love. See, God created Adam completely out of love. Completely because he thought Adam was a good idea. Not because he needed a caretaker. Not because he needed somebody to take care of the property. Because he loved Adam. Because the idea of Adam was good, and the love he had for Adam was absolutely pure. There was no pizza love. The love God had for Adam was, I want to create this beautiful world because I love Adam. I want Adam to be in this beautiful world. But it's not enough. Adam needs relationship. Adam needs somebody he can give himself to, somebody he can join his life to. Adam does not need someone to do his laundry, someone to give him the remote when he doesn't feel like getting off the sofa, someone to make him dinner. Adam needs an equal. He needs a partner. And so God created Eve. And he didn't create Eve just because Adam needed something and she was going to be something for Adam. He created Eve because the idea of Eve was good. Because he thought of the concept of Eve, and he said, this is good. Eve would be good. I love Eve. And so he created her. And what's the first thing Adam said? This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This is what I've been looking for. This is what I want. He's happy. And the thing about Adam and Eve and their relationship is each one loved the other the same way God loved them. Adam loved Eve the same way God loved Eve, which was, you are good in yourself and you are beautiful, and what I want is what's best for you. I dedicate my life to what's best for you, which was a lot easier because Eve was loving Adam the same way. It's a lot easier to love someone completely when they're loving you completely. So they have this pretty good thing here going where they're both looking out for what's good for each other. They're both free to give themselves to each other because each knows that the other has also given themselves to him or her. There's a lot of trust because there's real love. Well, then there's that very interesting line. The man and his wife were naked but not ashamed. What's that? That doesn't sound terribly Christian now, does it? Naked but not ashamed. What? What, they just have really great bodies? You have no cellulite in the garden? This is a great line. It's talking about sex. For Adam and Eve, sex was a complete expression of their relationship. It was a complete expression of their love. Adam and Eve had nothing to hide from each other. Their trust for each other was absolutely complete. They could be completely naked. They had no hidden agendas, no hidden motivations, and their bodies were an expression of that. And that's really saying something. What it's saying is that our bodies count. Our bodies are important. Our bodies are ourselves. What you do with your body is what you do with yourself. And for Adam and Eve, each one existed completely as gift for the other. Adam existed completely as gift to Eve. His whole life was a gift to Eve. And Eve's whole life was a gift to Adam. And for them, sex was an expression of that. In giving their bodies, they gave themselves. Now notice it says the man and his wife were naked and not ashamed. It doesn't say the man and his fiancée, or the man and his girlfriend, or the man and Miss July were naked and not ashamed. It says the man and his wife. See, they were committed to each other forever. This is self-gift, self-donation. I mean, what's a donation? If you thought my work was really wonderful, you wrote me a check with a whole bunch of zeros after it, which you're really more than welcome to do, I would say, oh, thank you very much. But what if you said, well, you know, you can have the check for now, but next month I'm going to want it back. I'm going to give it to somebody else. That wouldn't be a donation, that would be a loan. Sex doesn't speak the language of self-loan. It speaks the language of self-donation. I give myself to you. And that's what Adam and Eve were doing. It's saying, I love you the same way God does. I want what's best for you, and I give my life and my body to you. That's awesome. Now let's take it one step further. What comes out of that act of love? New life. God's whole plan was to fill the world up with people he's madly, madly in love with. Because God is, this is a basic fundamental tenet of Christianity, that God is madly, madly in love with every single person he created.